Dear guests, we hope you enjoyed your lunch. To kick off the afternoon, we are diving into a topic that's sure to create a lot of buzz. Bullion is no longer a static store of value. It's a digital asset class ready for the next generation of traders. With APAC entering a new era of digital finance, tokenized assets are set to transform how value is stored, traded, and accessed. We are honored to welcome on stage Mr. Emil Chan, co-chair at the Hong Kong Digital Finance Association, who is moderating the panel From Gold to Code, the tokenization of traditional assets. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Emil Chan and his fellow panelists on stage.
Thank you for the introduction. So any one of you purchased gold before? You have to purchase earlier because the price increased a lot, right? So gold is something quite different from the rest of the treasury or, ownership. So today we'll talk about the modern form of how to transact on the gold. So next to me is Andy. Let's go through. Let Andy to introduce himself and talk about what actually the gold to code is. Andy, please.
Hi everyone, and my name is Andy, the director of the CBCX and the founder of the ZSpace. It's quite a pleasure for me to talk about tokenization. So for your question, I think that tokenization is, I think it's precise of the converting the ownership of the real world assets, such as the treasury, the equities, the bonds, the real estate, luxury goods, into a digital token that can be recorded on the blockchain. And practically, I think for each token, that represents a share of ownership and can be transferred and traded automatically and digitally. So because of that, I think they could reduce the settlement time, increase the transparency, and improve the efficiency and the liquidity for the payment and the clearing. That's it.
Wow. So after the tokenization, we don't have to settle. We don't have to have the burden, to maybe we can only to do the transaction after a few days or delivery in and out. So the tokenization of gold is very important. So once we have it, we can imagine, go back to 1,000 years ago, that we are using gold to trade. So you gave me the food, the grapes, and then I give you the gold coins. But now, because of this tokenization of gold, perhaps there's a chance we can make the transaction faster, cheaper, and more efficient. But how can we make it work? I think, Georgia, you have the solution. Please introduce Hedge Trust.
Hi, Emil. Hi, everybody, and thanks for having me here. My name is Georgia. I'm Chief Product Officer and Head of Custody at Hedge Trust. Quickly about Hedge Trust, we are Hong Kong first financial service provider for digital assets. We are Hong Kong first, but not Hong Kong only. We are licensed in Singapore under the DPT license. We are the first custodian license in Dubai. Custody is only one of the services we offer on digital assets. We're also broker, dealer, and asset manager, also in Dubai. You're talking about the how. Very good question. Now, first of all, when you talk about tokenization of real-world assets, some people may feel like, okay, this is really overwhelming. How do I understand it? But actually, if I say one word to you, that may resonate and sort of, I think, click a little bit better. Think about stablecoin. Stablecoin, you might have heard it, is a digital representation of fiat currencies. That's really tokenizing fiat. Pretty much. So that could be really, it could give you an idea of what is the underlying mechanism here. You have an underlying asset, gold, for example, or fiat, or maybe it can be real estate, if so you want, or bonds or stocks, whatever. You have an underlying assets that must be duly kept in a trust arrangement, so to ensure that the assets are bankruptcy remote and they're legally traceable back to the righteous owner. And then from that platform, a digital version of your share of ownership is issued or minted, to use the terminology of the blockchain, onto a blockchain. Right? Maybe some of you, I hope all of you are familiar with what a blockchain is. Probably the most famous one is Bitcoin. Ethereum is also incredibly famous for introducing the concept of smart contracts and programmability of value. But fundamentally, a representation on the blockchain allows for all the upsides that were mentioned up until now. Efficiency, right? Because you can program it through smart contracts. You can basically open markets 24/7. You don't need to wait to settle a trade for banking hours. That will go away. You can settle T+0. And you can composability, I would say is the term, but you can basically interact with this token through decentralized financial products. So for example, you can really easily post your share of gold as collateral and borrow against it. And all of this can be done extremely seamlessly if you have the right access, the right safeguards, and the right partners as well to help making the most out of these products. Now, from a technology perspective, you need to have the right framework around it. And I think if we touch upon regulation, I think Hong Kong has been really focused on investor protection, which I couldn't agree more. There are so many, instances, there have been so many instances, and all the way until, straight up black swan events in the past, 6-7 years, that in my view, prioritizing investor protection is really important. But with that comes, technological safeguards from how do you do custody properly? How do you manage private keys properly? How do we ensure asset segregation between the balance sheet of a provider or a custodian for that matter, and client assets. And all of these, when it comes to tokenized real WAs or real world assets, translate into technology. So I think maybe we can touch upon a little bit later, but I think for institutions who want to get into this space, it's very important to partner with domain experts that can help really bring to life, use cases in a proper way, mitigating risk.
So put it this way, let me summarize it a little bit. It's somewhat like in the old days when we have to trade. For example, in the so-called, when China has to trade with Middle East, we have to travel a long way, carry buckets of gold, so heavy. What could we do? Oh, we have the middlemen. They will provide a certificate. It's somewhat a traditional form of token. So with the traditional form of token, I can exchange it at the other end so that I can, exchange it back into gold rather than, carry the gold all the way along across the desert. So with the help of technology, like Andy said, we can use blockchain. And blockchain, as Giorgio said, is somewhat like a new trust system. Rather than relying on an independent or a sizable company, the trust provided by, for example, HSBC or DBS. Now it is a community safeguarding your ownership through the algorithm, through the technology. So it will be seamless, it will be faster, it will be, so-called trustless.
Cheaper.
And cheaper, okay, and reliable. So now we understand that it is the way to go. It's somewhat like rather than we carrying the physical gold, we are carrying the paper gold, we relying on a middleman. So may I ask Lennon, Dan, on the operation point of view, and you might introduce please WCG, what's your role, and how can you make that what we just described work?
Hello, this is Nanan Tam from WCGs. Nice to meet you all. When talking about B2B business model, often much easier because company can hire some professional in high tech, in blockchain to do with the business. When we come to B2C business, there's a lot of challenges. First of all, for the bank, over 70% or 80% of the budget is tiered to the legacy system. They're not ready for the blockchain. And also, for the token, there's two challenges. First of all, the price of underlying, first of all, for example, the gold price. And also there's a token price. The education for the mass is not ready. First of all, just said that the private key system, management. I'm not sure how many people know about what is private key. Is it a real key to turn on the safe? It's not the case. So, and also, for deliver the gold, for underlying, it's built on trust. So how can make sure the client to understand that for one token is how much gold we have in the safe? How can we redeem it? If for someone I have a token, I go to the bank, I want my gold back. Can I do it? Then it's a challenge for the bank to education, to let all the people to know about it, and then there's cross-bank settlement. If I got the token, can I buy from bank A? Can I send it to bank B? How can I transfer the token to different banks? Because it's different issuer. And there's also compliance, the transparency of the back behind. Because for regulations in Hong Kong, for example, in Hong Kong, we are all protecting the investor, like she said. But at the end of the day, they are punishing the bank, the issuer. They are not always protecting, in my point of view. So it's very difficult to implement the product to the mass. For today, I mean.
Yeah, it's somewhat like I think a few of you, those guys, gray hair. How did you buy an air ticket in the past? You go to the agent, right? And you got the physical itinerary, you got the physical boarding pass. And how can you get a air ticket now? There's a learning curve. Yeah. You have to go to the website. You have to put in your credit card, and sometimes, it's the wrong websites. Somebody fool you, and you disclose your credit card number, and then they charge you. So what Lennon said is that if we really want to tokenize the gold, the transactional, there's a learning curve that we have to please go on.
And also there's new types of scammer in the market as well. When you bring some new product, new technology, the scammer will make use of new way. So there's a lot of things to do for educations.
Great, great. So now we have the landscape. Up till now, we know it is in general what tokenization of gold is. There's a lot of technology we have to adopt, and there are some new problems we have to face in. Now, Lennon, not Lennon, I think Jasper. Please let us know, what's GoSip, how GoSip can solve this problem, and how we can enjoy all those beneficiaries.
Thank you, Emil. Hello, everyone. I'm Jasper, advisor at GoSip. So GoSip is basically a gold-backed token. It's also fully backed by the Hong Kong Gold Exchange. In a simpler way, it's a gold-backed token. One GoSip token equals to 1 gram of physical gold related to our accredited folks. I think I agree with what other panelists have already mentioned already. I think tokenization, I think stable coins is already a very hot topic already, and there are a lot of stable coins already tokenized. If you compare to the global market, there are already around, in terms of US dollar, I think we are around 22 trillion market cap of US dollars in the M2 money market. But for the stable coins that are really tokenized, are around only 1%. So in terms of even commodities like gold, the percentage is even lower. So there is a big potential in there in the commodities like gold. And what we see is that stable coin is only the low-hanging fruit, and the real potential comes in when stablecoin is getting more mature. It's the commodities, and it's absolutely like gold, as gold is the biggest asset class right now in the world, right? We're talking about around a 30 trillion market cap asset class. So what we're doing in GoSip is that we make it investing in gold more accessible, more easily for retail users. So imagine if I want to buy gold, like you just said, like long time ago, in terms of transportations and storage, and even you have to aspect, you have to inspect that whether the gold and mix it with other substance. So it's really difficult for retail users to get in. So you can argue that right now there are CFDs, there are futures, and there are any more paper gold that you can trade, but they are tradable, and the underlying is physical gold, but you don't actually own the gold. But with tokenization, what we're doing is that we allow users to actually own the underlying, and with the gold tokens you hold, you can actually redeem physical gold at our accredited folks. So we take care of everything. We take care of the logistics, we take care of the storage, you don't have to pay the storage fees, and we take care of the assaying, so we make sure that every single bullion bars of gold in our forts is 99.99% of fine gold. And you can just simply buy them with a click on your mobile phone easily online, and everything is trackable transparently on the blockchain. So we make it accessible for retail users. And these bullion bars, actually, these bullion bars, if you're talking about LBMA class of bullion bar, the standard is 400 troy ons. So each bar represents almost in value, we're talking about $1.6 million. So it's kind of impossible for retail users to get in. But with tokenization, it's fractionalized. And you can buy as little as $1 or $10, even $100, of course, $1 million as well. So we make it accessible for everyone, make it easy for everyone. And that's what we're doing, that's what we're building. And we believe that this will be the future of buying commodities, including gold in the future.
Wow. So how many of you have the chance to read the white paper of Bitcoin? Remember? Yeah. What does it say? It said, it's a new currency. We want to take the control back from the US Reserve because it's an unlimited number of US dollar. Then there's a limited number of Bitcoin. Then we might replace US dollar as the, as the currency. Does it work? No, because the volatility. I won't sign a contract with you that you pay me over Bitcoin because I'm gambling with you. But stablecoin is a solution. Lately, we can sign a contract based on the stablecoin. It works. But stablecoin still usually 90-something% is based on the fiat currency called US dollar still. So the original idea of Bitcoin cannot be realized. Until now, we have a chance because we can have the stable coin, as Jasper said. It's stable, it's packed with gold.
Yeah, exactly. Just like I said, 1 token equals to 1 gram of physical gold in our credit vault. So I think this gives more credibility and also confidence to the retail users. It's no longer like you are, some of the projects maybe in Web3, they're like printing out money out of thin air. But right now, we're talking about tokens, one-to-one physically backed it, fully collateralized it. So it gives credibility and also confidence to the user.
Beautiful. It looks beautiful, but it seems that how many of you have this gold coin in your pocket yet? No. 1, 2, so maybe a few percent. So we need to do something more. Now, we have the expert next to me, Andy. Tell me about the regulation or, the aspect and how the other cities, for example, Singapore or Middle East, how do they make it happen? Let us know.
Actually, I think Hong Kong and Singapore take the lead so far in the Asian Pacific area because the Hong Kong Singapore could provide very clear and comprehensive the regulation framework. So why? And a lot of the people ask me about that because I think it's quite easy to understand because it's Thailand. So that's why we have a lot of the experiences to the renew and upgrade the construction of the regulatory framework, especially though we have been established the financial centers in the past few decades. So we have enough experiences to do that. And another important reason because we have the strong technical support for the construction of the financial infrastructure. Because I just give one example is that in the past 5 years, according to the report released by the China's central government, there's the 2.1 million engineers in mainland China, and 10% of that, 10% of whom they want to change the role from Web 2 to Web 3. And because, as we know, there's no clear regulation in mainland China. So some of them have moved from mainland to Singapore and Hong Kong. So that's why I think I just mentioned is that there is very strong technical support to help the Singapore and Hong Kong to upgrade and renew their financial infrastructure, especially in Web 3. So that's very important.
Okay, so we are taking the lead because we have the talents. We are taking the lead because, Chinese, particularly Asians, like gold. So when that happened, there's a trend, to move in that direction. But it seems that the technology or the solution is not ready yet. So, Georgia, can you let us know how to make it happen? Said everybody. So what's the missing piece that, to allow everybody using these tokenization of gold, and we have our wallets, have gold coins in it?
Sure. Actually, maybe before I answer your question, I don't really think the regulatory piece is fully there, right? I think we're getting there, but we're not quite there. For example, in Hong Kong, there isn't still a regulation or a license for digital asset custodians. That's something we have been actively as X-Trust, as a custodian that started in 2018. We've been advising and working closely with the public sector to help shape. But I think what I'm trying to say is that when you talk about tokenization, you can't just think, oh, we need a framework for tokenizing things. No, you need end to end. You need how do you tokenize it? How do you trade it? How does the liquidity look like? Where is secondary market? How do you enable liquidity? What wallets are you gonna allow to use? What about how do you manage redemptions? So end to end. So issuance, that is. So I think when you look at like Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai. There have been many different approaches on how regulation came about. If you look at Dubai, they started regulating, use cases. So custody, broker dealing, exchanges, issuance, asset management. So they went by type. You look at Singapore, they think about asset type first. So they think about, okay, this is a digital payment token. This is how we regulate that. So there is a bit of fragmentation from a regulatory standpoint. So that's, I think, one challenge that we absolutely need to overcome. Fragmentation across regulations means that, how do you handle cross-border, right, when rules are different? So that's one side. Similarly, on the technology side, I would say looking at the different licenses around digital asset, more or less the restrictions are a bit the same, right? You want to make sure, for example, from a key management perspective, hardware security modules are favored versus MPC, multi-party computation. I don't want to get too technical, but I think more or less there is a little bit less fragmentation, even though one thing I observe a lot when speaking to clients that are looking to either tokenize assets or store them or trade them, is that everybody worries about what blockchain I'm going to issue my tokenized gold on. And that's another problem called interoperability. Yeah. Different blockchains mean different rules, different technological rules that somehow you need to overcome so that the market will behave as one, not as many. So maybe to take a step back, I think from a perspective of what, for example, a company like ours does is education, a lot of it. We don't really advise. We're not going to tell you which blockchain to issue on. But we definitely can help from a perspective of legal and operational safeguards, and compliance, because we know the rules. And if you want to operate in this space, making sure that you comply, you need to work with licensed, compliant partners such as ourselves. And your question was, how do we make sure everybody can have this?
Yeah.
Well, everybody needs a wallet, or everybody needs something that beyond the scenes has a wallet, even though people may not realize it, because that's also a pain. User experience, unfortunately, in digital assets is terrible. I just don't have a better word for that.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think who's going to unlock the user experience piece is going to be the winner in the space. And hopefully that will happen within a protected and compliant environment.
Yeah, so there's a piece of law, the new bill about the custodian is in the pipeline.
It's coming.
So once the new regulation is there, I think it will be easier. It's clearer for Hong Kong, to roll it out. So from the operations point of view, I think there's questions that Lennon can answer,
Yeah, right. I believe that the technology will be improving better in tomorrow than today. And also, the education may be higher than today. But also, as a human being, we know there's a trust in my mind. The mentality is different. For example, like today, someone gives you a gold coin or 1 gram gold, physical gold. What you take? You can go on the street. People will answer you are better. Buy something in blockchain in the cloud. I don't understand. And also, for example, like the different country, maybe they have different reserve. Like a long time ago, the US reserve saying that $1 equivalent to certain amount of gold. But what happened today? We all know about it. The thing about it, today, company A, they have a gold custodian in somewhere, they return give you a gold coin using Ethereum. Another, they said, the other company, they have gold reserve and they're using different blockchain. And then we're trading. They're the same product, same underlying, but different token, different technology, different clause of transactions. So people were confusing. So at the end of the day, someone tell you that I have some reserved in gold and I'm issue a coin. You should trust it. There's no transparency. How can someone to guarantee a guarantor make sure that 1 gold coin equal to 1 gram? Who make it? It's not for a contract. Yeah, of course, in Hong Kong we have a very high regulated entity, the gold exchange. But what about the others? For example, in other countries, I can make sure that. Yeah, that's a good question. I'll leave that to Jasper to
Of
answer.
course, we need GoSip. So you can provide a solution. Let us know more about it.
I think we have an edge and very competitive advantages that we're backed by the Hong Kong Gold Exchange with 100 years of legacy already, which provides extra credibility. But I agree with what you said, but that's a beautiful thing about the open markets. So there are a lot of coins, a lot of chains, and nobody had an idea which one will comes out will be the winner. But that's the thing about the open market. So the technology thrives, and there are more projects, there are more competitors, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful. So GoSip, remember this brand name, and then I think it will be the one because of Hong Kong's foundation.
Yeah, and I think regulators comes into the educational roles as well. I agree that Hong Kong may be, taking a more different approach comparing to other countries even in Dubai or the US or Western countries. But what I like about Hong Kong is that it's not a bad strategy, is that you take things slowly but surely to make sure that things are running the right way. That's why they have all these sandboxes and they're rolling out the stablecoin audience as well. And I believe that once we have the infrastructure built, everything is ready, we have the stablecoin ready, then the market is ready to get into more tokenizations like commodities and even stocks and even real estate and all that kind of things.
Okay, so we only have around 12 minutes left, so that it will be the last question. That for the benefit of the audience, I think can the expert get us something to take away from Okay, so something that we can remember, that's something that's the direction that we have to follow, particularly about the future of this tokenization of gold. Andy.
Just from my own perspective, I think looking ahead next 2 years, I think the regulated decentralized exchange should be put on the agenda for the Hong Kong and SFC. Yeah.
Okay, so even though it is the regulations are not there yet, it's still in the sandbox stage. But the decentralization of gold, decentralized exchanges, and they will be available. So they will show us the way how we deal with gold, despite the fact that it's not on the centralized exchange that we are talking about. But somebody, the big brothers behind, they will start to train everybody so that we can have the experience. Is that what you are talking about? Then we learn from them. It's somewhat like we learn from Bitcoin. We learn from Ethereum. And then we are adopting the Web3's best practices, into our traditional finance. Good. Thank you, Andy. And then Georgia.
Sure. Maybe a couple of takeaways for different personas. From an investor perspective, not everything that's a token is a scam, but do your due diligence. Do you want to buy a gold token? Why not? Entertain it. It's the future. Whether we like it or not, maybe we're still 5-10 years away. I don't know. I think the first gold token or the first project trying to tokenize gold is like 8 years ago, 9 years ago. So, people try early on. Obviously didn't make it, right? But it will happen. Do your due diligence, and
It's
this is
like
not financial
dating
advice,
your
of course.
boyfriends, right? So not all the boys are the same, right?
Like that, exactly.
Thank you.
So that's one. The second one, if you are a company, an institution, you're looking to tokenize something. Be prepared to view this as an investment. It's probably not something you're going to do and it's going to make you money. Yeah, but it's the new internet. It's going to happen whether we like it or not. It's not going to go away. Regulations are coming. Probably, maybe take longer than we think. But we're going there. So let's get ready.
Beautiful, beautiful. So just use common sense or your experience. So remember, dating your boyfriend, apply the same approach. Okay. So please, Lennon.
Okay, I think we need to put a lot of effort on the education to build the trust in our Bullion industries. Not just technology. Technology will build themselves, by AI. But the trust in our heart is very difficult to turn people to believe in something. Based on the history of a lot of scam like the GoldCon 8 years ago, it doesn't make happen. We hope that in the future we can tokenize our gold as a gold sieve from the gold exchange. We can success in the short term.
Education. So that's why, I do education too. So follow my LinkedIn. You will see only this, after this event, I will have my talk to Asaka for the security expert to talk about, this technology. So Jasper, please.
I don't really have any suggestions, but I believe that in 1 or 2 years, I think APAC, especially Hong Kong and Singapore, will be the forefront of tokenization. And I believe in, right now, you may see that there are leaders in the Western countries in terms of maybe even in gold tokens, but I believe in 1 to 2 years, Asia will catch up very, very soon. And that's the turning point, that's a milestone that people will realize that Asia is serious about gold tokenization and commodities tokenization, and that's the point that Hong Kong and Singapore comes into the role that they have been doing for decades, which is the bridge to the massive market in China and the massive market in the Southeast Asia, and that's where liquidity really pulls in, and Asia will become the forefront of this tokenization economy.
We can imagine because we have the largest population size in the world. So if once we started, it will be in the mass. Why we have the internet, we have the blockchain. It's all counted by the number of wallets, counted by the number of votes, right? So the Asia will be the one. So since we have around 6 minutes left, may I ask Jasper if you have one sentence, to let everybody to away, what will be the sentence?
I promote my own project.
Please, please.
I think gold ship will be the future investment of gold.
Yeah, gold ship. And then Lennon.
I think the future is about the tokenization. I believe in it. I hope the technology will catch up, especially the education will catch up as well.
Yeah, so the future, or do you believe, tokenization is the future, and then tokenization of gold is important? And then Georgia, please. Thank you.
If you know what you're doing with somebody who does.
Wow. So this resemble what I said, a boyfriend turn into a husband, right? And then you pick the right one. Okay. Then Andy, please.
Quite easy. The monetization and the liquidation of the assets is critical.
Monetization of liquidation. Yeah, because once you hold it, there's no.
Especially for the tokenized assets.
Yeah, once you tokenize it, and then it's a freedom to trade. No big brother behind you saying that you cannot make the move because you will be your own choice. It's something like when we were young, liquidity means what? Don't follow our parents saying. We just sleep out and then date with our boyfriend and girlfriend and have the drink and then those happy days. So what we are going to do is plan for the future so that we can experience about it. We understand, we can tell the good boyfriend from the bad boyfriends, right? So this is what we really have to do. The good thing is that because we learn from mistake in the past, and then not only us, but also the regulator sometimes. If they make it tighter, too tight, we cannot move at all. And then people will leave Hong Kong and go to the other places. But if we make it too loose, then we will have that scam. So sandbox is a way what we have to do. Give us a sandbox, we test it out, and for particularly bullion trading, because it's not yet regulated by any particular financial regulators. So this is a playground. We can test it out. We can show to the whole world this is the way, with the right technology, with the right approach, with the right trusted entity, then we can make Hong Kong great again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.